There comes a time in every person's life when they must confront the reality of the relationships they have built, the people they have allowed into their inner circle, and the influence those individuals have had on their journey. Life, as we know it, is a tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, triumph, and trial. And in the midst of this intricate design, there are people, some who lift us up, and others who weigh us down. Today, I want to speak to you about a profound truth. God, in His infinite wisdom and love, will remove wrong people from your life. You may wonder why this happens. Why would a loving God allow certain individuals to enter our lives only to later remove them? The answer lies in His divine plan for your life. God knows the beginning from the end. He sees the full picture while we only see a fragment. He knows the people who will help you grow, who will encourage you, who will stand by you in times of trouble. But He also knows those who will hinder your progress, who will distract you from your purpose, and who will lead you away from His will. And because He loves you, He will not allow those wrong people to remain in your life indefinitely. Let me be clear, this process is not always easy. In fact, it can be incredibly painful. We are emotional beings and we form attachments to the people around us. When someone we care about is removed from our lives, it can feel like a part of us is being torn away. We may question God's timing. We may wonder if we've done something wrong. We may even try to hold on to that person, resisting the change that God is bringing about. But let me assure you, there is a purpose in the pain. There is a reason for the separation. And if you trust in God's plan, you will see that His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Think about it this way. A gardener tending to a rose bush does not hesitate to prune away the dead or diseased branches. Why? Because he knows that by doing so, he is allowing the plant to flourish. The rose bush may not understand why it is being cut, but the gardener knows that this act of pruning is necessary for its growth and beauty. In the same way, God, the master gardener, prunes our lives. He removes the relationships that are no longer healthy, the people who are no longer aligned with His purpose for us. And though it may hurt in the moment, the result is a life that is more fruitful, more vibrant, and more in tune with His will. Now, you may be asking, how do I know if someone is the wrong person in my life? The answer lies in the fruit of their influence. The Bible tells us that a tree is known by its fruit. In the same way, a person's impact on your life can be measured by the fruit they produce. Do they encourage you to grow in your faith? Do they challenge you to be a better person? Do they support you in your goals and dreams? Or do they bring negativity, doubt, and discord into your life? Do they pull you away from your values and priorities? Do they cause you to compromise your integrity? These are the questions you must ask yourself. And if you find that someone is producing bad fruit in your life, it may be a sign that God is preparing to remove them. But let me caution you, this does not mean that we should go around cutting people off at the first sign of conflict. Relationships require work, patience, and forgiveness. There will be times when we must extend grace to those who hurt us, just as God extends grace to us. However, there is a difference between a relationship that is going through a rough patch and a relationship that is fundamentally toxic. A rough patch can be worked through with love and communication, but a toxic relationship is one that consistently drains you, undermines your faith, and leads you away from God's purpose for your life. And it is these relationships that God, in His mercy, will remove. You see, God's ultimate goal for you is not just happiness, but holiness. He wants you to become the person He created you to be. And sometimes that means removing the people who are standing in the way of that transformation. It may be a friend who leads you into temptation. It may be a romantic partner who does not share your values. It may even be a family member who constantly criticizes and belittles you. Whatever the case, God sees the bigger picture. He knows what you need even when you don't. And He will not allow anyone or anything to stand in the way of His plan for your life. This truth is both comforting and challenging. It is comforting because it reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles. God is with us. guiding us, protecting us, and working all things together for our good. But it is also challenging because it requires us to trust Him, even when we don't understand His methods. It requires us to let go of the people we may have grown attached to, even when it hurts. And it requires us to believe that He has something better in store for us, even when we can't see it yet. I know that this is not easy. Letting go of someone you care about is one of the hardest things you will ever have to do. But I also know that God's promises are true. He has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He has said, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And He has said, all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. These promises are your anchor in the storm. They are your assurance that no matter what you are going through, God is in control. So if you find yourself in a season of separation, do not despair. Do not lose hope. Instead, trust in God's timing. Trust in His wisdom. Trust in His love. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. And He is working behind the scenes to bring about His perfect will for your life. The wrong people may leave, but that is only because God is making room for the right people to enter. The relationships that are not meant to be will fade away, but that is only because God is preparing you for the relationships that are meant to last. And as you wait for His plan to unfold, take heart. You are not alone. You are loved. You are valued, and you are held in the palm of His hand. The same God who created the universe, who parted the Red Sea, who raised Jesus from the dead, that same God is at work in your life. He is removing what is wrong so that He can bring in what is right. He is closing one door so that He can open another, and He is doing it all for your good and for His glory. So let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of the need to control every outcome. Instead, place your trust in the one who holds your future. He will not fail you. He will not abandon you, and He will not allow the wrong people to remain in your life. For He is a good Father, and He knows what is best for His children. God's divine plan for your life is a profound truth that offers both comfort and clarity. He sees the full picture of your journey from the beginning to the end, and He knows exactly what you need at every stage. Sometimes He allows certain people into your life to teach you lessons, to strengthen your faith, or to prepare you for what's ahead. But there are also times when He removes people who are no longer aligned with His purpose for you. This can be difficult to understand, especially when we grow attached to those individuals. Yet we must remember that God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. He knows the people who will help you grow and those who will hinder your progress. Trusting in His plan means believing that He will remove the wrong people at the right time, even if it doesn't make sense to us in the moment. His ultimate goal is to guide you toward the destiny He has prepared for you, and that often requires letting go of relationships that no longer serve His purpose. The pain of separation is real, and it's something we all experience at some point in our lives. When God removes someone from your life, it can feel like a part of you is being torn away. You may question why it's happening, or you may even try to hold on to that person, resisting the change that God is bringing about. But just as a gardener prunes a rose bush to help it flourish, God prunes our lives to help us grow. The process of pruning can be painful, but it is necessary for our spiritual and emotional growth. Those who are removed from your life may have served a purpose for a season, but they are not meant to stay forever. God knows what you need, and He will not allow anyone or anything to stand in the way of His plan for you. The pain you feel is temporary, but the growth that comes from it is eternal. Trust that God is using this season of separation to prepare you for something greater. Recognizing wrong people in your life requires discernment and honesty. The Bible tells us that a tree is known by its fruit, and the same principle applies to relationships. Take a moment to evaluate the people around you. Do they encourage you to grow in your faith? Do they challenge you to be a better person? Do they support you in your goals and dreams, or do they bring negativity, doubt, and discord into your life? Do they pull you away from your values and priorities? Do they cause you to compromise your integrity? These are the questions you must ask yourself. Wrong people often produce bad fruit in your life, and their influence can hinder your progress. God, in His love and wisdom, will remove these individuals to protect you and guide you toward His purpose. It's not always easy to let go, but it's necessary for your growth and well-being. God's goal for your life is not just temporary happiness, but lasting holiness. He wants you to become the person He created you to be, and that often requires removing the people who stand in the way of your transformation. Happiness is fleeting, but holiness is eternal. God is more concerned with your character than your comfort, and He will do whatever it takes to shape you into the image of Christ. This means that He will remove relationships that are not aligned with His will, even if it feels painful in the moment. He knows what you need even when you don't, and He will not allow anyone or anything to hinder your spiritual growth. Trust that His plan for you is good, even when it involves difficult decisions and painful separations. His ultimate goal is to prepare you for eternity, and that requires refining you through the fires of life. Trusting God's timing and wisdom is one of the most challenging aspects of faith, especially when it comes to relationships. We often want to hold on to people even when it's clear that they are not good for us. We may question why God is allowing certain things to happen, or we may try to take matters into our own hands. But God's timing is perfect, and His wisdom is beyond our understanding. He sees the bigger picture, and He knows what you need at every stage of your journey. When He removes someone from your life, it's not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to protect you and guide you toward His purpose. Trusting in His timing means letting go of the need to control every outcome and surrendering to His will. It means believing that He knows what's best for you, even when it doesn't make sense to you. His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Trust that He is working all things together for your good. Not every difficult relationship should be abandoned. Conflict is a natural part of any relationship, and it can often be resolved through love, patience, and forgiveness. However, there is a difference between a relationship that is going through a rough patch and a relationship that is fundamentally toxic. A rough patch can be worked through with effort and communication, but a toxic relationship is one that consistently drains you, undermines your faith, and leads you away from God's purpose for your life. These are the relationships that God in His mercy will remove. He knows what you need, and He will not allow anyone or anything to stand in the way of His plan for you. It's important to discern the difference between conflict and toxicity, and to trust that God will remove the wrong people from your life at the right time. Letting go of toxic relationships is not easy, but it is necessary for your growth and well-being. God's promises are your anchor in the storm. When you find yourself in a season of separation, hold on to His word. He has promised that He will never leave you nor forsake you. His promise that His plans are to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. He has promised that all things work together for good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. These promises are your assurance that no matter what you are going through, God is in control. He sees what you cannot see, and He knows what you do not know. He is working behind the scenes to bring about His perfect will for your life. The wrong people may leave, but that is only because God is making room for the right people to enter. The relationships that are not meant to be will fade away, but that is only because God is preparing you for the relationships that are meant to last. Trust in His promises and let them guide you through the storm. When God removes wrong people from your life, He is making room for the right people. This is a truth that offers hope and encouragement in times of separation. The wrong people may have served a purpose for a season, but they are not meant to stay forever. God knows what you need, and He will bring the right people into your life at the right time. These are the people who will encourage you, support you, and align with His purpose for you. They will challenge you to grow in your faith and to become the person God created you to be. Trust that God is preparing you for healthier, more fulfilling relationships that will honor Him and bless your life. The process of letting go may be painful, but the result is a life that is more fruitful, more vibrant, and more in tune with His will. God is making room for the right people, and He will not allow anyone or anything to stand in the way of His plan for you. Sometimes the removal of wrong people from your life is a reflection of God's protection. He knows the dangers that certain relationships can pose to your spiritual, emotional, and even physical well-being. There are people who may seem harmless or even beneficial on the surface, but their influence can lead you down a path of destruction. God, in His infinite love, will not allow you to walk into a trap. He sees the hidden dangers that you cannot see, and He will intervene to protect you. This protection may come in the form of a sudden separation, a change in circumstances, or even a growing sense of unease about the relationship. While it may feel confusing or painful at the time, trust that God is shielding you from harm. He is your refuge and your fortress, and He will not let the wrong people derail His plans for your life. His protection is a testament to His love for you, and it is a reminder that He is always watching over you. God's removal of wrong people often serves as a test of your faith and obedience. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well, but it's much harder to trust Him when He asks you to let go of someone you care about. This is where your faith is truly tested. Will you trust God's plan even when it doesn't make sense? Will you obey His leading even when it requires sacrifice? These moments of testing are opportunities for you to grow in your relationship with Him. They reveal the depth of your faith and your willingness to surrender everything to Him. When you choose to trust and obey even in the face of uncertainty, you demonstrate your love for God and your commitment to His will. And in return, He will strengthen your faith and prepare you for the blessings He has in store. The removal of wrong people is not just about them. It's about you and your relationship with God. The process of letting go often reveals areas in your life that need healing. When God removes someone from your life, it can bring to the surface unresolved pain, insecurities, or fears that you may have been ignoring. This is not a punishment, but an opportunity for growth. God wants to heal every broken part of you, and sometimes that requires removing the people or relationships that have been masking your pain. It's in these moments of separation that you can truly confront your struggles and allow God to work in your heart. He is the great physician, and He knows exactly what you need to be whole. The pain of letting go can be a catalyst for healing as it forces you to rely on God and seek His comfort. Trust that He is using this season to bring restoration to your life and allow Him to heal the wounds that have been holding you back. God's removal of wrong people is often a preparation for greater blessings. He knows what you need, and He will not allow anything to stand in the way of His plans for you. Sometimes the people He removes are simply not equipped to walk with you into the next season of your life. They may have served a purpose for a time, but they are not meant to be part of your future. God is preparing you for something greater, and that requires making room for new relationships, opportunities, and blessings. The process of letting go can be painful, but it is necessary for you to step into the fullness of what God has for you. Trust that He is working behind the scenes to bring about His perfect will. The wrong people may leave, but that is only because God is making way for the right people and the right opportunities to enter your life. His plans for you are good, and He will not allow anything to hinder them. Finally, the removal of wrong people is a reminder of God's sovereignty. He is in control of every aspect of your life, including your relationships. There are times when we try to hold on to people or situations that are not meant to be, but God, in His sovereignty, will intervene. He knows what is best for you, and He will not allow you to settle for less than His best. His sovereignty is a comfort because it means that nothing happens by chance. Every relationship, every separation, and every season of your life is part of His divine plan. When you trust in His sovereignty, you can rest assured that He is working all things together for your good. The wrong people may leave, but that is only because God is orchestrating something greater for your life. His sovereignty is a reminder that He is in control and that He will never let you go. As we come to the end of this reflection, let us remember that life is a journey guided by the hand of a loving and sovereign God. The relationships we form along the way are not accidental. They are part of His divine plan. Some people are placed in our lives for a season, to teach us, to challenge us, or to help us grow. Others, however, may be removed because they no longer align with God's purpose for us. This process of removal, though often painful, is a testament to God's love and care for us. He sees what we cannot see, and He knows what we do not know. He removes the wrong people, not to hurt us, but to protect us to refine us, and to prepare us for the blessings he has in store. Letting go is never easy. It requires faith, trust, and a willingness to surrender our plans to God's greater purpose. But in those moments of surrender, we find peace. We find assurance in his promises, knowing that he will never leave us nor forsake us. We find comfort in his sovereignty, trusting that he is in control of every detail of our lives. And we find hope in his plan, believing that he is making room for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings to enter our lives. So if you find yourself in a season of separation, do not despair, do not lose hope. Instead, lean into God's presence. Trust in his timing, rest in his promises, and know that he is working all things together for your good. The wrong people may leave, but that is only because God is preparing you for something greater. He is making room for the relationships and opportunities that will align with his purpose for your life. He is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the destiny he has planned. As you move forward, hold on to this truth. You are not alone, you are loved. You are valued, and you are held in the palm of his hand. The same God who created the universe, who parted the Red Sea, who raised Jesus from the dead, that same God is at work in your life. He is removing what is wrong so that he can bring in what is right. He is closing one door so that he can open another. And he is doing it all for your good and for his glory. So let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Instead, place your trust in the one who holds your future. He will not fail you. He will not abandon you. And he will not allow the wrong people to remain in your life. For he is a good father, and he knows what is best for his children. Trust him and watch as he unfolds his perfect plan for your life.